So Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib gave a speech in response to getting banned from Israel, and they didn't back down here. This is great. Now I'm going to show you a little clip. This is probably, in my opinion, the most important part of the speech. Take a look.
We give Israel more than $3 million in aid every year. This is predicated on their being an important ally in the region and the only democracy in the Middle East. But denying visit to duly elected members of Congress is not consistent with being an ally, and denying millions of people freedom of movement or expression or self-determination is not consistent with being a democracy. We must be asking, as Israel's ally, the Netanyahu government stop the expansion of settlements on Palestinian land and ensure full rights for Palestinians if we are to give them aid.
She's saying condition the money that we give them. I think she said $3 million. I believe the actual number is $3 billion a year for a subsidy to Israel. And she's saying there should be strings attached, and this is not a controversial point to make. And on that, she is 100% correct. And I give her a lot of credit, because there are lesser people who, having been accused falsely of anti-Semitism repeatedly by the mainstream media and by asshole politicians, they would have bent the knee. And they would have said, like, okay, I'm never going to criticize Israel again because now I have to work overtime to try to act like I'm not an anti-Semite. So Israel never did anything wrong ever, and now I'm totally going to, fall in line. Lesser people would have done that. But Ilhan Omar is brave and courageous, and she's like, okay, if they're going to smear me, they're going to smear me. Now I'm going to fight back, and I'm going to let everybody know we should condition the money that goes to Israel. I mean, what a crazy idea. What a wacky idea to say, no, there should be no strings attached, and whatever they do, they should get U.S. tax dollars. I like, do a poll of the American people on us giving them money at all, under any circumstances. My guess is conservatives and liberals alike would be like, I don't know, man, seems kind of weird because they have universal health care and we don't have universal health care. So we can give them $3 billion a year and everybody gets health care there, but here we have up to 30 million people who don't have health care, and we have medical bankruptcies as a top cause of bankruptcy. We have 30 to 45,000 Americans who die every year because they can't get basic health care. Seems a little wrong, in my opinion. Crumbling infrastructure here and we're giving them money? Very bizarre. And of course, they're violating international law on a regular basis. They are expanding illegal settlements. They are doing an illegal occupation. They are, in many respects, acting like an apartheid state. So, yeah, we should condition that money. You don't think that's a way to try to make them change their behavior? Of course it would help in that. Absolutely. Just so everybody knows, if you're sitting there and you're seething and you're like, she's an anti-Semite. Okay, well then you also think George H.W. Bush is an anti-Semite because he made this exact same point. He said, we're going to condition the money that goes to Israel and they better stop settlement expansion. And if they don't stop settlement expansion, we're not going to give them any money. Why would we? So this was like a duh position for a long time. It's only a recent development that, the Overton window in the U.S. has shifted so far to the right on this issue where it's like, we are just not even thinking in terms of how we deal with Israel. It's just, we'll just give you whatever the hell you want. And think about the fact that we're talking about Netanyahu, who's the prime minister. This is a guy who gave a speech to Congress without the approval of the President of the United States of America. That's not a thing, just so everybody knows. That's not a thing. That's not an option. That's not on the menu. That's not on the table. You can't just, imagine for a second the head of Iran, without the permission of the President of the United States, gave a speech to Congress? We'd be like, what is this? But Netanyahu doesn't. We're all supposed to be like, that's great. No, that's incredibly disrespectful. So, yeah, we should condition the money that goes to them. And also, just so everybody knows, they flipped on Rashida Tlaib and said, oh, yeah, you can come see your grandma. But what did they do? They said, hey, here's all the terms and conditions. It's very stringent. And, oh, yeah, one of those things is you have to promise to never boycott Israel moving forward. We're going to hang your family over your head and say the only way you get to see them is if you say, I'm not going to stand up against the oppression of Palestinians. Oh, wow. That is low. And people are scolding her. The right wing is scolding her. How dare she? She's grandstanding. She wants to see her grandma, but they're saying you could basically not speak out against Israeli crimes from now until forever if you go see your grandma. What? Finally, we have the conversation on this issue is shifting. And we actually have two congresspeople who are willing to stand up and say, this is nonsense, and we need to change this, and we're going to fight back. And you're not going to get us to shut up. You're not going to, get us to go silently into the night. Is that a phrase? I could have just made that one up. I have no idea. But hashtag silently into the night. But these are two brave congresspeople who are willing to get all these smears and allegations thrown at them to stand up for what's right. And for that, they deserve a tremendous amount of credit.